The big thing is they recognize, all right, Karthus did a really nice job that game. The big reason we were able to, M5 was able to do well against Karthus was because they had Ari, but they had to expect that Eclypsia was going to ban out Ari. So as a result, all right, we'll ban out Karthus. We know that it's going to happen. Just a little bit preemptive there. I really liked the Xin Zhao last game from Darien.
Yeah.
An interesting build, starting off with that Sun, or getting a fast Sunfire. He got the fast Wits End actually first, but the big thing is Xin Zhao, one of his weaknesses in lane is that pushing power. And Darien, he always likes playing laners up in the top, who have that pushing power, who can push really easily into a tower and then, leave the lane. And so the Sunfire, it allows him to push the lane a little bit faster. It allows him to regroup with his team. So we'll see how that kind of factors in the future. Jax being banned out again. Kale, no Urgot play last game.
No, which
was kind of surprising. But yeah, we'll have to see, whether that comes in this game. I would have thought against the Kog'Maw they would have picked Urgot, but Ashe worked perfectly fine. They were able to, have that initiation and whatnot. And the big thing is, Ashe, they have a really heavy melee team, and if you can't get in range with a heavy melee team, if you allow the enemy to kite you, then you lose. But Ashe, because of the hard CC that Ashe brings to the table, you just throw off an arrow, and all of a sudden, Shyvana and, Xin and whatnot, they don't have to worry about that. They can get right in up front and personal with the enemy there.
So we'll see if either team also decides to stick with similar comps as last time. Like you may Urgot once again has escaped the bans. May see Eclypsia try to go for another kind of like protect-ish comp. Have Urgot be the centerpiece, but this time around M5 is actually going to be there with the first pick, and Shyvana being the last ban from Eclypsia. So Lee Sin's open, Darius is open, Olaf and Kennen are also open, and going to be going for the first pick, Sona. Interesting.
Wow. So it is interesting. I was kind of wondering, Malphite was also open, but Darien, he tends to like to play aggressive top lanes, and they like making things happen in the top lane. And Malphite, he can do that, but he's kind of he's usually more of a passive laner. So, it would be interesting to see Darien play him. I'm sure he plays him a lot, but it doesn't seem to go with his normal play style. But Sona is a very strong support. It's so funny to think back. I don't remember which tournament it was. It might have been Hanover, where Sona went like 0-14 or something like that. Every single Sona match was a loss.
I think that's about right. It's around, if it's not the right turn, it's around the same time period.
Yeah, it's around that time frame. And the big thing is everyone just stopped playing Sona. Sona went from the greatest champion ever, nerfed a little bit. Everyone still played her, and they lost, and they were like, wow, we were way off, and they stopped playing her. But we've seen Sona come back recently, and she is a very strong support in that bottom lane. She works well against most laners. I think a big thing is that we're not seeing as many aggressive laners as we used to. And Sona, you used to use Sona for her lane harass. Her team fight potential has always been very strong, but you primarily use Sona for the lane harass, and now we're not seeing as many, Alistar, Taric, and Leonas as we used to. We used to see him every single game.
Well, then again, also, you don't see a whole lot of Alistars these days, because for most games, he actually just gets banned out.
Right.
Like, I think back to our Taiwan qualifiers. Like, I think Alistar and TF were like the two big ones to almost always ban, because Alistar, he was also just a monster jungle presence as well.
And when he wasn't banned, you won the game.
Pretty much. Same thing with TF, almost nearly every single time. But Lee Sin has escaped the bans, so I think M5 is actually just going to go ahead and pick him up, go for that. Go for those quick kicks, those quick assassinations. Actually, maybe Xin Zhao, he's also still open, could be considered as well. Jax is banned, so they can't have the super bros that they've had last time, but you never know. Xin, he's a bit of a bro. I think he can work.
I think a big thing is that Lee Sin, he's just a really, safe all-around champion. You can go in the top lane, you can go in the jungle very easily, and they know what his power level is. Xin Zhao can do that as well. He has that versatility, but I think there are still some questions about how Xin Zhao functions in the jungle. So they wouldn't really want to force their hand. Maybe Diamond Prox hasn't really worked a lot with Xin Zhao yet, so they wouldn't want to force their hand and force him into the, force Darien into playing him top. So we'll have to see how that'll work out. I think Xin and Lee Sin would still be an extremely powerful combo.
Oh, yeah.
Because the big thing with Jax and Lee Sin was not only are you making Jax tankier so that he's not going to die as quickly, but Jax would leap in, then Lee Sin would shield to him and throw off the slow and whatnot. So you can do the same thing with Xin. Xin dives in, then Lee Sin shields onto him and throws off those disables. But switching it up to Ezreal instead of that Varus, which Varus we haven't really seen a lot for a while, but Ezreal's definitely very strong. And Ezreal and Sona is one of the strongest harass combos in the game. Like that quick burst harass with Sona's power chord and Ezreal's Q is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and also Ezreal works well with a Soraka as well because it may not be the same amount of damage, but it's the fact that it just never stops.
Yeah.
It just gets really annoying really quick. And there you go, Malphite being picked up for Eclypsia, but I think they're hesitant though because they know that the Xin Zhao pick is definitely possible here. May actually see pick the Malphite trying to bait out a top lane pick and then actually throw him on into the jungle. You got Yorick being picked here along, considering the Kennen, but it's gonna be Yorick top for sure. But they could also Yorick is also a pretty good champ at 2v1ing, so there
Yeah.
may also be a lane switch here coming in from M5.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by the Yorick pick, but we'll have to see how it works out. Yorick has a lot of strengths. We don't see him a lot, very commonly because of the fact that, if the game goes too late or if you're overrun or something, then Yorick, all of a sudden, he's just a tanky bot. He just kind of sits there and, he looks like brown mud, and you're like, this guy is worthless. But I know he has a lot of strengths, and like you said, he can 2v1 if M5 wants to do a lane swap. He's also very strong at controlling the lane against anyone, basically. I would assume that Yorick has an advantage over Malphite, just thinking about the matchup. I haven't actually seen it, but he can spam out that harass to always keep the shield down. He has the heal himself, so he is going to be very tanky. One nice thing with Yorick is that he combos well with Sona, so they have really nice kiting potential. Sona has the movement speed. Yorick, he can throw off a slow, and then all of a sudden they can just disengage very easily, and it turns them into kind of a poke comp with both Gragas and Ezreal. It's a kind of a light poke comp, but it's still there. So it's definitely a kind of more of a kiting team. So M5, they want to just wait for their opportunities, just constantly kite Eclypsia in fights until they see a potential to pick someone off or get a nice Gragas ultimate and do so.
But to be fair, though, Eclypsia does also have a fair amount of poke as well. They have Orianna with the orb, they have Corki with the missiles,
Yep.
and it's just a matter of figuring out their last piece of the puzzle. Shen is open. They may actually go with it. Here we go. So it's just a matter of who's going to be top, or who's going to have the solo lane. Is it going to be Shen or Malphite? And
I would guess they're sending Shen top, actually.
you know what? I'm tempted to say that as well. But then again, like I said before, though, because there is the Yorick now in M5, there are the possibilities for the lane switch. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see. Maybe if anything's going to be happening with Eclypsia, they're probably just going to do the same thing that M5 did earlier and just do it like the last possible seconds. Like, oh, by the way, Shen's going top, fooled you, and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. I think this probably means that Malphite's going to go in the jungle. I thought they would send Shen top because of his regen. So Shen does, kind of goes toe to toe with Yorick, and they're kind of similar, have similar play styles. But we'll have to see. Oh, there we go. So last swap.
There you go.
One thing that's kind of interesting though is M5. They're going to have a very strong early game team. And try and win fights in that situation. If Gragas gets off to a nice start, then Gragas can just, win games single-handedly. However, late game, Eclypsia, their tanks scale a little bit better. Gragas late game, his damage, it doesn't fall off, but against really tanky teams, because he's so dependent on hitting his barrels, if you miss your barrels, then you have to sit around for a cooldown for a while. If you only hit your barrel on one or two people because the team is spread out, then that's a serious issue, and that's why you oftentimes see Gragas falling off some late game. So because Eclypsia has such strong tanks, Yorick is easily outmatched by Shen, and Malphite late game. That could be an issue with M5 where they just don't have enough damage to kill Eclypsia. So we'll have to see if that's the case. Having the Malphite Orianna combo is always really cool to see if you can get it off. But generally speaking, M5, their team is actually very safe in fights. They have Gragas can keep his distance. Ezreal is very safe. So it might be more difficult than usual for them to get that strong initiation from Eclypsia.
But there is still an ace in the hole for M5, and that is Sona. That is the amazing ultimate. That AoE damage could actually be more than enough to go ahead and burst out one of the centerpieces of Eclypsia, which right now it's looking to be Corki. So Corki does want to get his farm, and he does all the armor shred needed with comboed with that Taric down bot lane. So granted, though, Orianna has had those tweaks pretty recently. Can just bunch out a lot of damage on her own as well.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see, how that'll kind of work out. Both teams have a lot of survivability. The shields from both Orianna and Lee Sin, can work out. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the mid lane works because Gragas can usually free farm against anyone, but Orianna can be an aggressive mid laner, and that range versus melee harass could work out. But I think that'll tend to turn into a free farm lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But granted, Gragas with those barrels, he can be be pretty safe. You know,
Yeah,
and
no,
just
that's true.
pass him a quick blue buff. Not all too uncommon to stack. Maybe 2 or 3 Doran rings on the fat dude also, just so he can go ahead and continue to do that from a range as well. Looking really quick here. See what Yorick is running. Just pure damage, armor, magic resist. Actually kind of what I run on Yorick actually.
Yeah, it's basically what he
Yeah.
ran the last game as well. So
Yep.
it gives him that burst potential against Malphite because Malphite's melee. It'll give him a little bit more, of a threat to kind of wear him down. I'm kind of curious how Darian's going to play Yorick. If he just kind of plays that standard Yorick that we usually see, or if there's something unusual about his style because he does, play a very aggressive pushing style. Usually, so I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting to see. We'll have to see. I think that M5, their team early on is strong enough to take advantages in fights because of their early survivability. But I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. We'll see. I mean, they could, clearly just outplay Eclypsia, which is always M5's goal going into any match.
We're gonna walk on in there, and we're just gonna be better than them.
Yeah.
That's the end.
That's
That's a good train of thought.
That's perfectly fine. If you want to be a top tier League of Legends team, you just walk in with the mindset that we're better than you.
Well, that's not too far off.
Oh, right. Of course
It's
not.
it's most I think that's kind of the mentality of a lot of just League of Legends players here, which I mean it's a good positive attitude to have actually, but you don't get carried away and cocky though, of course.
One big thing with M5's team, which is going to be very difficult for Eclypsia, is how Orianna is going to stack up against it. And I'm really curious how that's going to work because they all can kind of split off. Lee Sin can just quick shield away.
Yep.
Ezreal is going to be fine. So having all of these really survivable champions, if Orianna can't hit her ult combo, then all of a sudden Eclypsia, they're just missing out on a load of damage, and as a result, M5, they just might be too tanky for them to take down.
Both supports grabbing the boots, potions, and ward. So we may have a mutual invade going on here from both teams. Just a matter of where everyone's going to be going in from here. You'll see Eclypsia, they're starting to gather on in the side brush over by their blue. But I think Gozu Pepper and Genja, I think they're actually just going to be staying back, being a little bit defensive. Usually when you see the boots on the support, that's a clear indication of an invade. Diamond proxying at a little bit of vision, orb going down into the bush, and it seems that Eclypsia has been spotted. But they're a little bit split. They're not all completely committed to this. Darian making a shift on over, takes a quick auto attack from Corki, and they're gonna have to back off from this because they're just not all together on this.
Yeah, I think Darian was trying to bait it in, try and waste some of their summoners real quick. But, Eclypsia, they have a very strong level 1. They have the follow-up CC to take people down. They have vision with both Corki and Orianna. So, that, they had an opportunity. One nice thing, though, because they're going up against Malphite for M5, is they know that they can use their flash early, they can use their summoners early, and then not really have any sort of punishment for it. So a lot of times if you lose your flash in the early level 1 fight, then, all of a sudden you're very vulnerable in lane. But Malphite, he can't really bring successful ganks in early levels. He needs to sit to level 6. So as a result, I think that kind of opened up the potential for Darian to just kind of walk up and taunt them a little bit. He wanted to see if he could burn something for them, knowing that he could just flash away, and losing his flash wouldn't be that big of a deal in this kind of a situation. So we'll see. Malphite able to grab that blue, Lee Sin going for the red. So again, those kind of opposite jungling routes, so they can both head up into that top lane.
And you also you're seeing the rest of Eclypsia actually helping out huge with that blue buff. They want I'm So Fresh to actually hold on to his smite. He may be going for a quick red or a quick invade as well, thinking that Lee Sin may not be going for it, but unfortunately he is, and it looks like Fresh just going to go ahead and move on up to the Wraiths, to the red, continue the path, and work onto that journey for level 6.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that's going to kind of factor in. Lee Sin can be a lot more aggressive than Malphite with early ganks, and he also has a little bit faster jungling speed. Though Malphite, once he gets a couple of levels, his AoE can allow him to jungle very efficiently. So, we'll see whether or not we see a Lee Sin gank early. The level 2 quickly for Ezreal and Sona is awesome because they're able to grab the golems. Eclypsia not grabbing anything,
Oh, wow.
and Ezreal just being extremely aggressive against Corki. The constant harass, and that's really where the Sona and Ezreal combo thrives, is in that poke kind of lane harass. And Sona's just all around strong.
Yeah, but then again, Ezreal, he cannot keep it up forever. He will eventually run out of mana, but until then, it's going to be rough times for Eclypsia down bot lane. Malphite just grabbing the small golems up top lane as well. Skyr and Darian dueling it out here. And Skyr's got a little bit of a rough time ahead of him. Granted, yeah, he does have the regen. He does have shields. He has a lot of good stuff in his kit to go ahead and reduce this pressure. It's just a matter of how well will he be doing farming under tower with all these ghouls all up in his business.
Yeah, he's extremely low. I was kind of wondering whether or not Lee Sin might decide to just dive him, at a very early level, which would be surprising. The taunt from Shen, actually, so Darian gets some damage, but he did level up. And actually, Lee Sin is coming in from behind, so he will be able to shield right in, get off the slow, but they do have to worry about who's tanking. So he gets the Q, but then moving out, a taunt from Shen, so Darian actually going to go down. The first blood, and then the flash from Skyart, able to get out of there. Awesome play, able to put himself ahead early in the game.
You'll see what happened with Diamond Proxys. He got in with the Tempest, drew tower aggro, and also gets in with the Q. But he thought he got out of range of the tower, and he didn't. He wanted to connect, but there you go. Meanwhile, in mid, Ignite actually going down onto Orianna. A lot of burst damage coming in from Gragas, but I don't think it's going to be enough. You also got I'm So Fresh here. Top lane looking for the shard, just trying to keep Diamond Prox out of there, but he should be able to get away. But no, he wanted to connect with the second hit of the Q, but he's still on tower aggro. He didn't shake it off.
Yeah, so Shen just kind of running back and forth, forced them into, making a misstep there. So we'll see how that'll factor in. But, Shen, if he can, bully around Yorick, then that would be huge. Yorick should be fine. Yorick's, going to be able to just farm from range. But 2-level advantage already in this game. Yorick's going to be able to catch up some. It's really only actually a 1 level with all those minions there, and Shen is going to have to back off. But we'll see if he can put some pressure with that extra gold advantage.
Stun going down real quick down on the Genji in the bot lane, just for a little bit of harass, just to annoy a little bit. But Tarek is actually getting really low. You got the exhaust going down to Ezreal. Arcade shift, and wow, long distance. The flash will not save you there, Havoc, and almost getting a kill on a kill war. Gosu Pepper, though, that bush is warded. Minions. Yeah. Can you capitalize on that now?
The double flash from both Gosu Pepper and Genja.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like a Men in Black situation. They're just both pulling out their, their Glocks and, taking the shot. But really nice job there. And that kind of pressure, they can just continue to abuse that lane. They should generally be safe enough from the Tarek stun. Ezreal can just arcane shift out of there, not have to worry about the follow-up damage from Corki. But having that quick burst is huge, and now the exhaust is down for Tarek, so they're going to be in an even worse situation. No exhaust for M5 in that bottom lane, but even so, they're able to win those matchups.
Yep. So last time Yorick got himself that Meki pendant, so he's going to be building that into a tier. May very well see the Manamune build coming from him. Alex Ich stacking up those Doran's rings. He realizes that, granted, while he's still actually farming melee range pretty well, just in case. He needs that mana regen. He needs that power to go ahead. Barrel going down real quick on Shalai, along with the belly bust. The barrel not going to be enough, but he used the ignite earlier, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to connect with the rest of that damage.
Yeah, but the big thing is that Gragas has such spammability and short cooldowns that he can just abuse Shalaya here and completely shut down any farming. So rather than wait for an opportunity where you can pick up a kill, he knows that he can sit there and force Shalaya out of this lane. Diamond Prox walking up into Malphite will actually get a Q over the minions if he decides to go for it, but getting the slow is able to back out of there. And Alex Ich just has control over this mid lane, which means that they also have control over the top jungle.
Yeah, so he could go in and grab those wraiths, or he's also allowing a nice little escape route, a little highway route, secret passage, if you will, for Diamond Prox as well. But granted, though, Malphite, I'm So Fresh did get a little bit of that. But the thing is, though, you can go ahead and be really sneaky and do things like steal the wraiths. Granted, Shalai has been doing that to M5 side a little bit as well. Stole the blue earlier. But for now, though, Orianna's pushing tower. Not a whole lot she can do.
Yeah, and actually Genja going with that really common. Actually, Orianna, because Gragas didn't let her get out of there, they're trying to pick up a kill, but she's able to back out of there.
Scare.
Ezreal, actually, Genja going with a really common Ezreal build that we've seen a lot recently, and it's really picked up a lot of play, and it's leveling up your W, the Essence Flux, over your Q, over your skill shot, and so you miss out on some of the damage from the skill shot in fights and whatnot, but your lane harass is just so much stronger. And the big thing, not only do you get the free harass over the minions, which is an issue with Ezreal, people hiding behind the minions, but you also get the attack speed slow. And because it levels so well, having that attack speed slow, you can easily win any exchanges. Lee Sin and Gragas, they're able to pick up this blue. Unfortunately, the rest of Eclypsia is coming in behind as well.
There is the barrel. It is up for Alex. This could be disastrous right now for Killer. Ward going down into the Triber. Stun going down onto Alex Ich. This could be an opportunity to try and pitch him in. The barrel actually pushing Corki back. Going to be just enough to go ahead and prevent enough damage there. Corki could have been a huge part of that fight, but he was off and away. Past that
actually,
barrel.
I am so fresh, trying
Looking
to chase
for the
them
combo.
down. He wants to hit it and actually gets the ultimate onto Alex Ich. Can they follow up with Orianna? The Shen taunt after the flash. They pick up the kill, but the Sona ultimate underneath the tower. Skyart takes some damage. Lee Sin is here as well. Gets the Q into Skyart. One more attack is able to pick it up. The exhaust, he has to get out of there. But Eclypsia, they're in a really dangerous position because Genja is chasing them down, throws off the flash, trying to pick up a Q, but doesn't quite have enough mana. And actually another kick in from Lee Sin onto Kill War is able to pick up that kill. Really nice play from Diamond Prox.
I can't believe more members of Eclypsia didn't die there. Look at the rest of the team. They're just like, Karthus, please. I wish you had him.
Oh, I actually want to just look at that Lee Sin kick again, just because that was such a slick, kick as they came through. It does give M5 an opportunity to continue, to pressure them, but Genja just barely not able to pick up those kills, and Diamond Prox gets over to the side of Kill War and then shielding back for them to pick up the kill. Really nice play. But yeah, again, they can just continue farming in this bottom lane and continue to take those advantages over Eclypsia.
That was a pretty nuts fight. And, I've seen some kicks in my day. That was a pretty good one.
I could tell it was a kick from the pixels, and having seen many kicks in my day.
I can see the kick was also on cooldown. Well, it was. Now it's back up, so you can go ahead and start kicking some more people in the face. But in the meantime, though, M5 they're doing pretty okay for themselves. They got a nice 2K gold advantage very early on, just about to enter the 11th minute. So let's also get a quick update here how things are going for the top lane, because he got York, he still got Shen here. York, he was just chilling top lane for pretty much all game so far. He's got his tier. He's got the longsword. He could be actually just rushing the Manamune straight out just so he has that extra damage against Shen, who's naturally someone who builds a lot of health.
Yeah, real quick, not to sidetrack there, but for a second, but that Essence Flux and one auto attack onto Corki, that was just phenomenal. How much quick burst damage you're able to get.
He's got the Sheen.
Yeah, he does have that Sheen, so that's the kind of harass you get with this unusual build. But like you said, York in the top lane, he has the spam ability now where he should be able to farm pretty freely against Shen. The issue is that Shen is a much stronger late game tank, and York, the ult doesn't combo particularly effectively with Ezreal because Ezreal's more of a ability-based AD champion as opposed to someone like Cog or Misfortune, who's purely auto attacks. In the meantime, though, Auto Fresh coming in this bottom lane, he gets off the red buff, some couple of attacks, and M5 actually bursting him down, but the ultimate from Malphite actually coming in, the Sona ultimate as well. The Orianna ultimate missing as he gets out of there, but Ezreal does go down, and they're chasing after Diamond Prox here. He's getting pretty low, but Alex Ich able to come in from behind, picks up the double kill with the barrel, missing the body slam onto Havoc, but he will surely pick up this as well with that red buff. Havoc is definitely going to go down.
There, Lee Sin waiting for a little bit of damage there. Does manage to
Izzy.
Flash out of the belly bust. Havoc, can you get out of here? Can you get away? Alex Ich looking to close the gap, but there you go. There's the kick, and I think just realizing his fate there.
He resigned himself to a fate identical to death because it was death.
There was a point in that team fight though, Eclypsia, when Malphite flashed out. And then, Diamond Prox getting a little bit low.
He's gonna die.
No, will he?
Just barely
live, but Shalaya, can you get out of there? And flashes up, has to use it. Bust over the wall in pursuit to Gee, just a little bit scared. But that last fight, bot lane.
Yeah.
Fresh flashes out, then Shalaya ults.
Yeah.
That hurts.
That was pretty painful. I mean, they were able to pick up the kill onto Genja, but not able to follow up with the rest of them. And Alex Ich has just been so aggressive in this lane. He's actually positioning himself to pick up this kill here because his ultimate is back up. But Malphite coming in is like, I better put a stop to this right away. But Alex Ich, still the shark, still waiting for Orianna here.
The biggest shark known to man. He's a pretty big shark, but he's just going to go ahead, and he's he's that much of a boss. He's just gonna walk. He doesn't have to go the long way around to get back in the lane. It's like, you know what? I have the regen. I'm just gonna straight out take it. Genja getting pretty chunked out here. The flasher response kill war, but will the ignite do it? The heal, clutch heal from Ghost Pepper there just in time, just enough to top off Genja to keep him from death.
Yeah, and Kill War was just slightly low on mana, so he wasn't able to follow up with as many rockets as he would like to. Genja barely being able to get out of there. He actually, I'm not sure if his heal was up or if that just came up. That would have been kind of interesting to know if he was baiting it out and just knew that he had just barely enough to sustain and maybe bait Corki underneath that tower. But Alex Ich, again, coming right onto Shalaya, has enough damage. The ultimate, does he have the Ignite? He does have the Ignite, so one more barrel and the Ignite will be able to do it. The Orion ultimate with Shen, but he goes down pretty quickly. The rest of Eclypsia is here, but with Yorick in pursuit, so they're actually perfectly fine. I'm so fresh, maybe in a dangerous position here as M5 closes around him.
Darien is in pursuit, waiting for the slow, getting it down on the Malfa, but he's, of course, running in the wrong direction. Just wants to go ahead and bait out the rest of M5 from the team. But there you go. In the meantime, M5, they're actually going ahead and grabbing the Dragon. Sona going down onto Havoc. Genja there with the burst down to Kill War. Diamond Prox waiting for his escape. Shields on over to Ezreal to get out of the Dragon Pit. And Ghost Pepper in pursuit will get the kill down onto Corki. And Havoc once again trapped. Double kill for Sona. But Fresh managed to bring Alex all the way back.
Yeah, the long chase from Alex Ich, being able to get back there. I'm not sure if Eclypsia is maybe conceding a little bit early here. If they they don't want to wait for the 20-minute mark.
Are they?
Oh yeah, it seems so.
Check chat real quick.
Yeah, we'll see. M5 really awesome, play in this game, particularly the play from Gragas. Oh, just a real quick. GGG, we finished for the IP. Always need the skins. But M5, they, really impressive play, and they were able to pick up kills left and right. Darien, I was surprised by how much Darien was able to chunk out Malphite when they were chasing there in the past. And so, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and watch M5 farm.
We'll just you gotta do the right thing. You gotta play it out. And yeah, this is actually, what is this? 14 and a half minute surrender. I think the Dignitas surrender is at like 13 minutes. I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Dignitas loss would have been at like 15 minutes if it wasn't a 13-minute surrender.
Also true. But yeah, M5. So Eclypsia, gonna go ahead and do the chat-based surrender here.
Genja getting very close. It would be funny to see Corki, pick up that kill after they actually surrender. But Genja with the quick jump in, and they have the double suicide.
They got it. So there you go. So, but M5. So they've Eclypsia has already stated in chat that they've already called the GG. They're just gonna go ahead, for the record. Go ahead and finish it out, push on through mid.
But to keep things exciting, M5 pushing through the mid lane. Alex Ish, he's able to take a tower, and now M5 is grouping. Diamond Prox with the ward. We'll see if he's able to catch anyone off with that. The Q into the minion. Perfect positioning from Diamond Prox to be able to take down this base turret. And M5, will they be able to do it? It's at 1,200. 1,800, 700, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They pick up the turret, and
Happy
now
birthday. Happy New Year.
The inhibitor is exposed.
And Kill War, the only one left in the game, has to fight alongside the mates. Go ahead and try and defend this inhibitor push, but I think just on his own, it's not going to be a whole lot doing. And Ezreal still back in the base. I think he didn't quite get the memo, but there you go, Kill War. Turret aggro going down to Alex, but it's not going to be enough. This is ridiculous. Why are we even doing that?
I think Gragas was trying to be sneaky there with the barrel. He wanted to look really cool and hit Corki with the ultimate and throw him back into the barrel, but because he missed the ultimate, he then missed the barrel and just looked kind of awkward. Yep,
Shalaya and Kill War still being the only two that haven't decided to just straight out leave the game. But yeah, so this will be the push. This will be the run. Second turret in by the Nexus going down. They should go ahead and refocus that. Genja's here.
Oh man, and
just wants those kills.
Genja building towards the triple sheen. All those procs. Just so many procs.
So many. All the procs. It's just all three of them. Kill War gonna be going down in the fire, in the flames.
I mean, to be fair, it was a really nice play
from
M5 and. Eclypsia, they had some opportunities. They, the first blood on Shen was definitely nice, but they just weren't able to capitalize on it. And M5, they had a really strong early game team. Alex Ich was just, that was one of the most aggressive Gragases I've seen.
Gregai?
Grigori, I know. But
the plural of Gragas, help us out. We don't English very well.
Gragasai. I guess it would be Gragas.
I like Gregai.
Gragases. It's
Gragases.
All right. We'll go with that. But the big thing was he was just constantly pressuring them around the map. He abused Orianna in the mid lane.
Yeah.
71 CS to 154.
That's
astounding.
yeah.
Like this happened in all the lanes, but in the mid lane in particular, Yorick also did a very nice job in the top lane. Darien was able to put on a lot of pressure onto Skyart, despite the fact that Skyart had those early advantages.
Yeah.
And that constant spam harass from Yorick, it was just too much for him.
Yeah, and not to mention, Sona was getting a little bit ridiculous as well. It's Sona 3-0-6. That's just damage. That's just sheer absolute, tank and damage, looking for just trying to get anything she could. She had like a double kill at some point in the game. This is kind of silly and ridiculous. But yeah, everyone just won. Everyone did what they came to do, and there you go. 14.5-minute surrender.
Yep.
In chat coming in from Eclypsia. M5 will actually be moving on. And they're going to be playing in the next round, in the round of 8, the winner of Mouse Esports and Mega Shock.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be interesting. I'm trying to remember if Malice had beaten someone, pretty big recently. I mean, they've been around for a while. This actually team is kind of a new team, but they are solid players. I don't know. I'll have to look that up, but that's definitely going to be interesting. We've seen M5 and Mega Shock before, and Mega Shock has looked very strong in the past.
Finals for IPL 5 qualifier too. So and going into that game, Mega Shock was like afraid. They're just kind of like, I don't think we can actually do this. I'm like trying to perk them. I was like, come on, you can do it. Just go and give it your best. And they gave it their best, and actually gave a pretty good show for it. So we'll see if how they've improved since then as well.
Yeah, I just want to see one of those moments. I'm imagining like that at a live event.
And
the team is like, oh, we can't do it, we can't beat them, and then we do like, oh, Angels in the outfield, everyone flap your Angels wings, and
I can't believe I remember that
really,
movie.
Really cheesy.
I can't believe I remember that movie at all. Like, just kids' movies were just a blur to me. I was just too preoccupied with candy.
All right, then. Candy was a good thing. I've heard tales of this candy that you speak of.
I've had a little bit too much of it. I know a little bit too much.
Regardless,
anyway,
thanks guys for tuning in. M5 versus Eclypsia, really awesome job by M5, able to pick that up. We'll actually see. I'm not sure. We might have a game after this. I don't think so. Originally we had planned for it, but it was SK versus Black. But unfortunately, I think they had to postpone.
Yeah, but what we do have though for the NA side of the IPL elites. Tonight, starting at 5, I think we're going to kick things off with MTW versus Monomaniacs. And then follow that up immediately with Team Solo Mid against Dirt Nap Gaming, or DNG Pandas they are now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be exciting. So 2 quick matches in the evening. Definitely tune in if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks guys for tuning in. We're going to throw it to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with rebroadcast. I'm still excited, to hear as things are going to progress later today with Afremu. That still just astounds me that Afremu, leaving TSM Evo. But
yeah.
We'll see, what happens with that. But thanks, guys, for tuning in.
See you next time.